So I decided to take out this camera and vlog some thoughts because I know that a lot of you guys really like me vlogging my thoughts, and it helps a lot of you, and it is what I really want to vlog about. Like, what my thoughts have been about is happiness in general. Like that God, and if you aren't religious, don't worry, I'm not gonna preach to you, and I'm not gonna put, but God, we as humans, we all innately want to be happy. I know there's a verse, and I don't want to screw it up, and I should have wrote it down before, but we're made to be happy. Now, the ways we create happiness nowadays, or how us humans have our views of happiness, are very different than the way that God would give us happiness, because we are very, especially nowadays, very tangible, very we need it here right now type humans. Like, we are very instant gratification. How about that? We're instant gratification, and basically, to be a whole, like to be a human, an individual, a whole, there's 4 aspects of being a whole individual. There's physically, the outward appearance of you, of course, the body, physical. Spiritually, doesn't have to be religious if you're not religious, but spiritually meaning giving you a time of quietness, especially nowadays where this world is just full of noise. There's a country song. Dang, who sings it? But it's a good country song. You should look it up. It's called Noise, and it's about life. And actually, I'm going to look up the lyrics. So let's see, Kenny Chesney. So, noise. Yeah, we scream, yeah, we shout till we don't have a voice. In the streets, in the crowds, there is nothing but noise, drowning out all these dreams of this Tennessee boy, just trying to be heard through all this noise. 24-hour television gets so loud, no one listens. Sex and money and politicians talk, talk, talk. Especially since this last election. Ugh. Okay, so sex, money, and politicians talk, talk, talk. But there really ain't no conversation. Like, it's just noise. It's like, especially with, Trump and Hillary, it was basically just bashing. There was nothing really. Anyways, I don't want to go on to that. Let's see. Ain't nothing left to the imagination. There ain't no conversation. Trapped in our phones, and we can't make it stop. All this noise. That is so nowadays. Like, seriously, we don't even have enough time. I mean, if you really think back, like, life, okay? You want to be happy. Ultimately, this whole vlog is about happiness, okay? Happiness in general, okay? How are you supposed to be happy if you can't even take a second, take even 10 minutes out of your day to sit down in a quiet room without your cell phone? That's noise. That will go off, and you'll look at it, and it will disrupt your quietness. But there takes some time. You don't have to actually meditate, because, but just sit down in a quiet room and just think, what would make you happy? What are you doing in life right now that will lead to ultimate happiness? Happiness shouldn't be fleeting. I mean, sometimes, yeah, it's nice to eat like a dessert or whatever. Like, I like my ice cream, but if I have that too much, then I feel guilty. And yeah, that pleasure, like if you're having ice cream, Yeah, it tastes really good at the time. And I know that chocolate does that for you, especially this time of the year. You're getting a ton of chocolate. And yeah, and as soon as you eat that chocolate, man, it's so good. It chemically produces an endorphin in the brain, kind of like, I think it's almost the same about endorphin that you get when you're having sex if you eat the chocolate. So I mean, yeah, you're eating the chocolate, you're eating the sweet. Yeah, you feel happy, you get a pleasure from it. But the thing with that type of pleasure, as like I said, it doesn't go beyond the activity that produces it. So if you're eating, you're only happy as long as you're eating. Once you stop eating, you don't get a fulfillment out of that activity anymore. So that happiness, that short-lived happiness, is now gone. Same with anything else of a little pleasure. Sex, alcohol, drinking. People nowadays, well, not nowadays, but people, especially, I'm bringing up Christmas, people going to Christmas parties. Yeah, you're having fun drinking. It's not that fun while you're staring in the toilet and throwing up. um, it's only, that pleasure is only good while you're doing that actual activity. That is what we as a society of humans are doing wrong. If we're searching for happiness, we go to pleasures. We go to instant gratification pleasures. Shopping, yeah, maybe you can get a full day's worth of happiness, but then you get the bill. Or not even that. Like, let's say you'd go shopping for a day and you don't care how much money you spend. You still only, now the next day you're done shopping and you're not, it's fleeting. It's fleeting. It's instant. It's only the adrenaline rush in that activity that's producing it. So, how do you abstain long-lasting happiness, the one that we are meant to have, that we all want as a human species? We all want to be happy. So, as I was going through, there's four parts of the human. Like I said, there's physical, there's spiritual, where you have to cut out that noise. Sit down, read a book, a good book, like a book that's motivational, a book that will get you some knowledge. Even just 15 minutes of a different kind of book. It would be so much better than just like sitting watching a television show for 15 minutes or YouTube or whatever. Yeah, you're gonna forget. It's whatever's on TV, you're gonna forget. It's all gonna be mixed together in a jumble. It's like, why not take that 15 minutes and go to silence and figure out prioritize. Put your life in priority listing. Like, what would make me happy? How do I like my life right now? Prioritize. Figure out what you're doing. Look at your life at that moment right now. How can you figure out what you actually want in life and what's making you happy and what's not, and what's stressing you out and what's not, if you never take the time to just take out 15 minutes to get rid of that noise, to shut off that television, to shut off the cell phone that's producing more stress. You need some time to yourself, and you need to reflect. So spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, the books you read and what you watch on television and stuff would help tremendously. To be a well-rounded human, you need to you want to progress, intellectually. You don't want to just be dumbed down by, like, I'm getting mad at myself for not reading into, especially since I'm not in school anymore, in college anymore. I'm falling into more society and like pop culture and like, ooh, what's happening with Kanye, or intellectually I need to stimulate. And I think we as humans, I mean, we have a brain, it grows and we need to use it. We need to exercise it. It's a muscle. So, so happiness. It's more than just looking to the next thing to make you happy just for that little while. I mean, people look for happiness in the wrong things, I think, all too often. Whether it be in a relationship where you focus on that one other person to help make you happy, which isn't what you should be doing. That other person should be your other half. Sorry, I'm getting over being sick. So your other person should be your other half, and you should be helping that person grow, not taking more from that person to make you happy. I think that's one of the things that people in relationships who have problems in relationships, one of their mistakes is that they rely on their other half to make them happy. Like sex, it shouldn't be about just that. Like, it is a fleeting moment that is a short pleasure that, yeah, it's important, but if it's all about that, then you're only going to be happy for about 20 minutes in the rest of your relationship. You got to find some common ground. You've got to, communication. That's another big thing. I went to this training because I work with kids, and I think it's a training where I think everybody should take it. It's a new type of, how could I say this? It's a new type of way of thinking, going about things. It's about your emotional intelligence, your emotional IQ, how you deal with dealing with other people's emotions, basically, stemming off relationships and happiness. The biggest thing in a relationship, any kind of relationship, it doesn't have to be romantic, it could be friendships, anything, is communication. Can't go wrong. I mean, once you are talking with about another human being, you need to communicate. Communicate means both listening, actively listening, where you're not just hearing to reply, not listening to reply. You're actually listening and trying to figure out, put on that other person's shoes, what they are feeling and why they are feeling it. Try to step out of your emotions and what you are feeling, because in a heated moment, you are so tempted to be right. Some people, I mean, that's the curse. I mean, I seriously was on Instagram Live the last night. Yeah, it was last night. I was on Instagram Live, and I was watching one of my favorite dancers. His name is Fiction. He was on a date with a girl. He just got out of a relationship, a year-long relationship, and he was on a date with a girl. And I'm not sure if it was a date or if it was just like a friend, and he was... Anyways, she was going on for about an hour, more than that. Like, because I left, because on Instagram you guys know, some of you guys know, these live feeds, you can go on it and you can go off and you can come back and it will still be on if they're still live feeding. Anyways, so they were arguing about, that's the thing, arguing. I don't get arguing. I mean, yeah, you can be... There's a way, like, that's what, I'm just not an arguer. I've never been a fighter. It's like, okay, I see your point of view and I see my point of view. If we can't agree, then that's fine. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Like, that's what some girls, they just got to be right. And I hate that that's what men are thinking of girls. Like, they have this idea of girls that they always have to be right. They're very stubborn. They're very emotional. Um, it sucks because then guys just think girls are all like that, and then if they get into a relationship like that, they just go, okay, that's what a girl's supposed to be, and I just have to deal with it. You should never have to just deal with anyone's crap. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or boy. You should never have to deal, if you are unhappy in a relationship, you have to reevaluate why you're doing it. It should not be that hard. Like, it should not, it should be, anyways, let's go back to the live feed. They were fighting for, see, the thing is, I convey, like, I was writing into fiction saying, like, oh my God, you're so patient. Like, why do you keep, I don't know, because he was egging her on as well. So it's like, if you really don't want to listen to her anymore, then just like, I mean, you don't have to be like, yes, you're right, honey. You don't have to do that. Just be like, okay, well, I'm going to just call it a day. You have this point of view, I have this point of view. Let's agree to disagree and move on. And let's talk about something else happy. Not just keep on fighting for about an hour. Anyways, it was about a girl, how society dates. How a man is seen on society to buy a girl dinner, and, you know, me personally, I would always be like, do you want me to pay my half? Like, even if I know guys, some guys would be like, no, you know, it's the first, it's the date, like, it's, I gotta pay, but I am at least going to, because I feel weird. I feel weird if someone pays for me. Like, I feel like, aw, like, I can help out too. Or, you know what, I could pay for yours and you could pay for mine. Anyways, that's not even, it was about society and how men, you know, they'll buy, they're, if they take a girl on a date, they're automatically, destined, or, I don't know how to, they're assumed that they have to pay for the dinner. And at the end of the night, he said, after, you know, that I had paid for a nice dinner or whatever, that I would at least want a kiss from the girl. And the girl was getting all mad, saying, why should I kiss you? Why should you expect anything from me? Like, it's only the first date. Like, and he's like, just a peck on the cheek. Like, doesn't have to be anything, but I, like, paid my money. So they were going on and on about why a guy should deserve something after a kiss. He wasn't going any more than a kiss. He was just saying, I at least want a good night kiss, whatever. If things were well. Of course, if you didn't hit it off and you guys both mutually didn't like each other like that, then I don't think he would. But he said they hit it off, and he's like, well, why didn't I at least get a kiss? Like, I paid for everything. You know, she's like, you shouldn't be expecting anything in return. And so they're going on and on about thing, like, freaking for an hour. I'm like, oh my gosh. And the girl kept on going off topic and, like, bringing in different scenarios, and, like, he's like, why are you bringing in these scenarios that didn't even happen? I'm like, well, yeah, that's, you guys are wasting, like, freaking 20, no, it was an hour and, like, 2 minutes. I went to sleep. They were going on back and forth, basically. I mean, I don't know, maybe some people get a kick off, some people like debating, but I mean, they could have been having a good time. I mean, they could have been miniature golfing or something. You know, they could have just agreed to disagree, and maybe, I mean, I don't even know if maybe that hindered. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about this. Happiness. It's just, why put yourself in that situation in the first place where you're with someone who is so just has to be right all the time, that they just fight over the littlest things. And then, like, it sucks that guys just think girls always have to be right. Like, women are always happy wife, happy life, even if it's not your wife or whatever. But it's just the sucks that the majority, I mean, I'm not like that. I mean, I know that most of my friends are like, you're like a guy, like, you are so easy to talk to. Anyways, this is why. This is why, because it's about communication. The number one thing in a relationship, any kind of relationship, is communication. Okay, you are not just a one-sided talker. Like, let's say I'm talking to you guys right now, blah, 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 blah. No, you don't talk just to talk. You talk to get to know what that person is feeling. Like, for me, I really want to really know a person inside and out, what their thoughts are, what their beliefs are, what makes them happy, what makes them passionate. I love hearing about what makes that person I'm learning about happy, and like really get into their interests. Put on understanding for a change, and like if someone's going through something, like take the time and just understand where they're coming from, even if you don't feel it's a big problem or if you don't agree with them. You know, have an open mind and an open heart and just be like, okay, I'm not me for right now. I'm going to be them. Empathy is the biggest issue, I think, where some people lack the ability to go out of their point of view, go out of their mind, out of their head, and their viewpoints that they've been taught their whole lives, and try on somebody else's viewpoint that, why are these people feeling this? What have they been taught? You know, we all grew up in a different well, if you're talking around the world globally, internet, yeah, we all grew up in a different area, and we all have different beliefs, and we all have different parents, and we all grew up in, every single one of us has grown up in a different household. I mean, even my brother has different viewpoints than I do. I mean, I'm religious and he's not. We have the same parents. We have the same background. I choose to go to church. He doesn't, but anyways. No one has the same exact frame of mind. And you should respect that. That's actually one of the blessings, I think, in life, that we get to go out into the world and hear people's viewpoints and different ways of thinking about life and thinking about why we're here. Okay, I'm giving you guys the ticket to life here. Just kidding. This is how you can be happy. Okay. Now you gotta commit to doing the right thing. That is the first way to be happy. Okay, Amy, you may be like, all right, commit to do the right thing. I'm not gonna move mountain. I mean, like, I'm not gonna serve. I'm not, like, you don't have to do that. Doing the right thing, meaning, let's say, okay, should I watch TV right now or should I work out right now? What should I do in this 30-minute time frame that I have free in my life? Watch TV or work out? Okay, this has to do with instant gratification as well. I just read this book by Matthew Kelly. Like, he is one of my favorite speakers right now. He is a motivational and pastor, and he's actually I'm not Catholic, I'm Christian, but he's a Catholic talker. It's more on the Christian side though, because the book that I was reading was Rediscovering Jesus, and basically he was saying that you know, this is so true too, that you want to just take out what you think will make you happy for that moment. in time. You have to like think long term. This is what happiness is. Long term, not short term pleasures or what you want to do at that time. So, yeah, working out, you know, I'm tired from work all day. Like, I just want to lay down and watch TV. But then I'm going to watch TV, and after that 30 minutes is up, I'm going to feel like a tired, fat slob. Like, what did I get accomplished? Nothing. So if I chose to do the next right thing, and I gave myself a decision for that 30 minutes, what do I want to do? Sit down and watch TV or work out? Now, if I chose to work out, then I may not want to work out for like the first, like I'll change to my workout gear. I'll, you know, start working out and be like, oh my God, you know. But once I start working out, I feel good. And then endorphins start running. And guess what about working out? It's not like eating where it's only about that small time frame where you're actually doing the working out that you're feeling good. But after you work out, you're like, I mean, you never had a bad workout, right? Like you never go, oh man, why did I work out today? No, you always feel good that you did it. And that lasts. And then out of the 4 things that create a human, you know, the physical, spiritual, emotional, intellectual, you will start seeing physical changes, which will emote to happiness, which is prolonged because you're working out and then getting results, and then you're working like it's not just a 30-minute boom, I'm done pleasure thing. Working out lasts, you know, like, yeah, you have to work at it, but it lasts. Like, you're always happy that you did it for days to come. So you always have to commit to do the next right thing. So you're constantly making decisions. Each decision you make, you go to each decision and it adds up. So like, what are you going to do? Eat? Eat? Like, you know, that little pleasure. Are you going to eat or are you going to do homework? Yeah, you don't want to do that homework, man. Like, who wants to do homework? But after you do homework and you study, then you're going to be happy that it's over and you progressed and you've done something beneficial instead of eating. Well, I mean, yeah, you need to eat. But as soon as you make the right decisions, if you split up your day to each hour in each thing you do and give yourself 2 decisions, and if you give yourself 2 decisions and pick the right thing out of each decision, little by little, you're going to progress to an eventual long-lasting happiness. It's not just instant gratification, pleasure-seeking things that only last for a fleeting moment of time where that adrenaline rush eventually stops after that activity is performed. So committing to the next right thing in little decisions you make every day is the first rule to long-lasting happiness, where you physically are happy with where your life is right now. Like, you can think back and be like, you know what, I'm actually in a good spot. Like, it's not like, oh, you're getting constant fulfillment, because it's different than that fleeting amount of pleasure that, you know, has an adrenaline rush, but you are yourself feeling whole and happy. Okay, the second one, guys, listen up, take notes, is you're committed to making a difference. I read a quote just recently that stuck with me, and it was, there's 2 most important days in your life. The day you are born and the day you understand why you were born. Find your purpose. You know, working with kids, my purpose is to inspire and try to create lives that, I mean, they're in school all day. They don't see their parents because both parents work. So I'm their parent. I am trying to create lives future generations, basically, like those lives and how they project onto the world, I have them about what? They come to me at 2 p.m. on Wednesdays, 1:54 p.m. and they're with me until 6, some of them, p.m. So, and they're only with their parents from like 7 to like 9 and they go to bed, you know? So it's like I have them for like, say, about maybe half the time, maybe 45-50% of how they view life right now and how they cope with life, that and their coping mechanisms that they use right now, maybe in their future, comes from me. Like, I don't want to like sound conceited, but I mean, if I can get a child who there's a lot of anger issues right now. I have a class of very emotional kids, either anger issues or they can't express how they feel appropriately, either by acting out, temper tantrums, physical fistfights, or crying. Yeah, it's okay to cry, but why is that child crying? You have to figure out the coping mechanism and have them use their words and like, like I sound so elementary, but I mean, that's what they are. Coping mechanisms to how would you better, in this situation where he took the ball from you, how would you better, instead of like either taking the ball and running or actually physically hitting the person because you want the ball back, what could you do? Like happiness, what's the right thing to do out of these two decisions? What would get you a better ending result? Basically, I put it in very elementary terms for them because they're 6 years old, but ultimately what I'm trying to teach them will help them eventually in their life. So me inspiring and teaching kids how to use, like, I feel like I'm using my coping skills, and especially the training that I learned, it's the emotional intelligence training, where how to communicate better and how to use terms like with anyone. Like, I understand you're feeling angry right now, but it's not okay that we, like, tell that person that you understand that they're feeling an emotion, and you have to tell them that their feelings are not who they are. You're not going to say you're mad right now or you're mad. You don't say you're mad. You say I understand. I know. I understand you're feeling mad right now. You're feeling mad. Feelings are just like happiness. Or our version of happiness. They're fleeting. Feelings are fleeting. They are not, feelings are always changing. And with the world is always changing as well. So we got to create stepping stones where we have a coping mechanism and realize that, feelings I'm not going to be feeling sad for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to shoot myself. Realize that feelings are fleeting, just as is happiness. Everything is temporary. So you have to be very, things that I'm learning, like I said, that everybody should take that training where you truly understand to take on somebody's way of thoughts and like their feelings and say, I understand that you're feeling this way. Like, and I understand. Knowing that someone understands you is the best feeling in the world. To understand where they're coming from. And I think that's the issue with those girls who feel that maybe they're not being heard. And nobody should have to say you're right to make you feel, I don't know. Anyways, this is getting to a very long vlog. But number two, I was saying number two of being happy is being committed to making a difference, finding out your purpose in life. And if you keep on doing that purpose and fulfilling that purpose with everyone, and try to make a greater good. You know, there's a saying, if you're not part of the problem, or if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So if you're trying to make a difference and being kind to people on their way and sending out good messages into the universe, and I would say not the universe, but to people, like if you're spreading good messages and the word of Christ, if you're religious, and if you find the purpose if you find and truly have a purposeful, if you feel like you're fulfilling your purpose in life, like either getting your message out there or changing people's lives, other people, you know, happiness isn't intrinsic. It's not about money. That's instant gratification. That's a fleeting. Money is fleeting. Like I said, shopping lasts for a day. It's not about short term. It's about feeling whole, feeling purposeful. And if you, like I said, there's those two things you can do to always make the right decision in the moment. You know, what's the next best thing? What should I do in this moment? Should I do this or this? If you take the time out to really figure out what you want to do with your life, what would really make you happy, where you want to be, and not just the right now, not like, oh, what would make me happy right now? Like, oh, I'm going to stay in this relationship and I'm going to endure this because I'm happy right now. Don't endure anything. Don't tolerate anything ever. You hear that word tolerate, and if you're tolerating something, think about it. Like, you never tolerate a good vacation. Like, oh, that vacation, man, I was in Hawaii, I was just tolerating it. Or, that dinner, man, that dinner with the mashed potatoes, I was just tolerating it. Nothing good is tolerated. So if you find yourself just in somewhere where you're just tolerating it for that time being, thinking that it's easy for the time right now, like you're happy, you're comfortable right now, that's another thing that's bad that I have an issue with. Comfortable in that book that I was reading, Rediscovering Jesus, and what Matthew Kelly says, if you actually, guys, if it's not all religious, I promise you, there's motivational talks on there. If you just look up Matthew Kelly on YouTube, you'll find very good talks and messages. And you guys always were saying, like, you need to vlog, you need to do this. And so this is my time where I felt like a tugging at my heart, where I needed to get this message out. And especially this time right now, Christmas time, some people are single, and single shouldn't be a bad word. It's, you know, people look at it like single nowadays, like a disease. Like, oh my God, you're single? Let's find a cure for that. Let's get you somebody. Like, yeah, but you never should settle down. Like, oh yeah, I'm single, but you never should settle for someone just, you know, I want Mr. Right, not Mr. Right now. Like, if you're settling for someone just for the right now, for that 30-second happiness that's eventually, like, you know, whatever it be, like through sex, or, you know, yeah, you might have fun for that 20 minutes, but then the next 20 minutes you guys are arguing, and where's the overall happiness in that spectrum? You want to be overall happy, not happy for 2 days and then the next 2 days you're fighting, and then happy for 2 days again, and then 2 days you're fighting. It's happiness goes with everything in life. It should be an overall happiness, not a fleeting, pleasure-seeking, moving to the next temporary. I think I got some interesting things off some of the message I wanted to explain. But ending note, are you truly happy? Try to make the, I don't know, this message that I learned from Matthew Kelly. If you guys ever, if you want to look up Matthew Kelly, for sure do that. Like I said, he's not just all religious. Yeah, he'll bring up God and Jesus and whatever. Like, but this one I heard today, man. Oh man, it was so good. Oh, what was it titled? Being the best version of you. If you look up Matthew Kelly, being the best version of you, I think everybody should take some time out to watch that one. Who doesn't want to be the best version of them? That's what your number one thing should be, is being the best version of you can be. Anyways, overall, stay happy. Bye, guys.